Winning the Rookie of the Year is a big deal. Why? Because it's basically someone saying you should be the next big thing. So we are going to take this information from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. You can get mad about that in the comments. And we're going to go through every single one. And we're going to talk about them and see what they're doing right now. Number 43, Barry Windham in 1980. I mean, yeah, this one worked out. I mean, his run as the Stalker in the WWF was ridiculous. But basically, every other thing Barry did was pretty damn good. Especially all those matches with Ric Flair. And you can basically go to any point at like the 80s and find a match that he's doing and go, he's pretty good. Sadly, Windham is struggling with his health right now, so we send him all the best. Hope he gets better soon. Number 42, Brad Armstrong in 1981. These days, everybody will tell you how underrated Brad Armstrong was as a worker, but also that behind the scenes, he was really ha-ha funny, but he was never really able to do that in front of the camera. This is why, in terms of what we saw, he technically had everything, but it kind of never really clicked. So it did make sense that he would win Rookie of the Year, because it kind of felt like he would go in that direction. Very sadly, he passed away in 2012, and he was only 50 years old. Number 41, Steve Williams in 1982. Now, if you already know Steve Williams from his WWF run, you kind of don't know Steve Williams. I mean, he was a gifted athlete who also smashed it as an American football player. And he just had all the strength, all the speed. It was like a brick wall coming towards you. If you want to see what he was all about, go and watch anything he did in Japan. This is another sad end to this one, because he too passed away after suffering from throat cancer. Number 40, the Road Warriors in 1983. I mean, we're not debating this one. The Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, call them whatever the flub you want. They are one of the best tag teams ever, hence why they won Rookie of the Year. And they carried this right on through the 90s too, until very sadly, Hawk passed away in 2003 because of heart complications. Then Animal died a couple of years ago from the same thing. Right now, this list is pretty damn depressing. Number 39, Tom Zenk and Yamada in 1984. So Tom Zenk could go, but apparently, when you go do a bit of research, he'd also piss everybody off backstage. When the WWF came calling, he priced himself out of a deal. And I kind of get this, because in wrestling you do need some kind of an ego, but my word, it's still sad times, because he passed away only a few years ago too. And as for Yamada, well, he went on to become Jushin Thunder Liger, which means I don't have to say anything else. I mean, he's one of the best wrestlers ever. Number 38, Jack Victory in 1985. One of the best named wrestlers ever, Jack Victory, also had a pretty mad gimmick. Him Jim Herd's WCW NWA thingamajig, even though he came from New Jersey, he was a New Zealander, he was an Englishman, and he was a Russian. Why not? I mean, it's a strange choice for Rookie of the Year, because he kind of had a tendency to overdo everything, but Paul Heyman certainly saw something, because he brought him into ECW, and then he broke his leg. Amazingly, he last fought in 2021 too. Now he does a lot of shoot interviews. Good for him. Number 37, Bam Bam Bigelow in 1986. Another guy we just don't need to talk about because look, was Bam Bam one of the best big men wrestlers ever? Yes. Yes, he was. I mean, nobody could believe a monster like this was doing moonsaults. He was flying around the ring before smaller dudes flew around the ring. Kinda. I'm sure you also know that in 2007, at just 45 years of old, he passed away too. Why does wrestling have to be so depressing? Number 36, Brian Pillman in 1987. Which again, man, because just 10 years after this, he died too. I can't handle it. You cannot tell me that Brian Pillman wasn't ahead of the game though, because he was basically doing 2023 ideas way back in the late early and 1990s. I mean, this dude was a genius. He did struggle throughout his life though, which led him down a very, very difficult path. And yes, in 1997, before the Bad Blood pay-per-view, it was announced he had passed away. Number 35, Gary Albright in 1988. A star in the UWFI promotion, Gary Albright was like a suplex king. But suppose you could say he was a Brock Lesnar before Brock Lesnar. Also, he was a total beast. He also had an okay run with All Japan, and actually, if you go check out any of his fights with Kawada, you'll actually be like, they don't know what wrestling is, because they kick the crap out of each other. Tragically too, Albright actually died in the ring in the year 2000. All he did was take a cutter, but he kind of landed awkwardly. So again, when people do screw up in the ring, don't point the finger and laugh. Just be happy they're okay. Number 34, Dustin Rhodes in 1989. We don't need to give this one a big spiel either, because we all know that Dustin Rhodes was a massive success. I mean, the Goldust character was ahead of its time, even though occasionally it was way too controversial. And even now, he is still smashing it in AEW. So he lives up to that Rhodes family legacy. What a flipping guy. Number 33, Steve Austin in 1990. No, I'm not going to regale you about why Steve Austin won this. If you don't know, what are you even doing? I'm only kidding. You don't have to know the history of wrestling, but you definitely should check it out. Austin is mostly making TV programs these days and living on his ranch, but don't forget, what did he do at WrestleMania 38? He made a comeback, he took on Kevin Owens, and it flubbing ruled. Number 32, Johnny B. Bad in 1991. Soon to be Mark Merrow after his WCW run. When you do see the Johnny B. Bad gimmick these days, your eyes will fall out of your head. But look, in terms of his in-ring prowess, he was pretty good. Ultimately, it would be his jump to the WWF that would prove his undoing, because Vince McMahon saw his wife Sable and said, sorry Mark, I'm gonna push her instead. These days, Merrow is working for a non-profit charity and doing a bunch of self-help work and going out of his way to be kind to people. I mean, he sounds like a terrific fella. Number 31, Rey Mysterio in 1992. Now, even I've fallen into this trap. We like to walk in here and go, oh, that person was a game changer. But when it comes to Rey Mysterio Jr., I mean, he literally did it. Nobody was better in 1992, though. And that's been the same for the next 30 plus years. He should basically be in every single Hall of Fame going. I mean, somehow he's still wrestling? What a damn legend. Number 30, Yun Akiyama in 1993. Given that he was considered All Japan's fifth pillar is all you need to know. I mean, he never really got up to those levels, but still, the fact he became some extra concrete, people knew what Yun could do. His fight with Kobashi at Noah Departure 2004 as well drew a massive crowd. Because of this, I think these guys decided they'd try and kill each other. It's the most stiff thing you've ever seen. He's still amazingly wrestling today to a very respectable level with the Dramatic Dream Team. Good chance he never retires. 29, Mikey Whipwreck in 1994. So when Mikey Whipwreck did win this award, it was because he was the ultimate underdog. That's kind of like a thing he was never able to shake off. He was instrumental in helping to rebuild the New York independent scene outside of WWF, which is why eventually he went to ECW. All of his work there is to be admired as well, although very sadly, in 2021, he told us how he actually struggles being out in public and suffers from social anxiety, so now kind of shies away from it. Let's take a big pool of positivity and throw it Mikey's way. Hope he's doing all right. Number 28, Percy Aguilar Jr. in 1995. An absolute legend to star, the real sad part of this story is that Perro actually passed away in the ring when he was just doing a basic move. He was only 36. He absolutely earned this Rookie of the Year award too, because he was like a Kurt Angle before Kurt Angle. You put him in a ring, he just totally got it. When he joined CMLL and turned heel, everyone was like, oh, you can't do that. But it actually turned out he was a much better bad guy. And yeah, if he was still alive, he'd still be smashing it. Such a damn shame. Number 27, The Giant in 1996. So some people like to go, oh my gosh, The Giant, Paul White, The Big Show, never made the most of his career. I'm like, what planet are you living on? He debuted way back in 1996, and he's still active in AEW now. This dude is an absolute beast. If you do go back and watch his World Championship Wrestling work too, he is doing stuff somebody half his size shouldn't be able to do. So I like The Big Show. I think he's someone literally and figuratively we should look up to. And again, yeah, you want to check him out now? Captain Insano on AEW. Number 26, Mr. Aguilar in 1997. One of these guys that the magazines ranted and raved about. Everybody thought he'd go to the WCW Cruiserweight division, but he didn't. And instead he signed with WWF. Even in the late 90s, it was the land of the giants. Now, this wasn't ideal because Vince McMahon just didn't understand this type of wrestling. Though actually, he did get to have a match with Eddie Guerrero at Backlash 2000. It's pretty good. He did go back to Mexico a year after this and did have a little bit of a short stint in TNA. And now I don't really know what he's doing. But 25, Goldberg in 1998. I mean, seriously, you can kind of go back to before Goldberg debuted and go, WCW's doing some stupid stuff. So if you want to come in my house and say, oh, maybe Billy Boy extended their lifespan, I think I'd agree with you. Of course, he also came back to the WWE in 2016 to have a proper run. And he is talking about doing one last comeback tour. I suppose keep an eye out for that. Number 24, Blitz Cre in 1999. Now when you say Blitz Cre today, everyone's like, who the flub is Blitz Cre? But seriously, go and watch him in WCW and it would take you 8 seconds like, oh man, I totally get it, because here's another guy that was doing modern day wrestling 25 years ago. And sure, he was prone to the odd mistake, which is totally fine, although he never really eradicated those. And eventually it became a little bit of a problem. After suffering a nasty concussion though, he decided he didn't want to travel anymore. So do you know what he did? He went and became a nurse. Good for him. Number 23, Sean O'Haire in 2000. Another one that will confuse people unless you were there. Sean O'Haire had something the moment you set your eyes on him. Easily the best part of the Natural Born Thrillers stable, he was also totally jacked. But when he was signed up by the WWF after WCW closed, he started doing this devil's advocate gimmick, and once again it was just like, man, I tell you, there's something to this. Sadly, Shawn was another one that did struggle a lot with his own personal demons. In 2014, he committed suicide, so for goodness sake, everybody, if you are feeling sad or bad or whatever, please go and have a chat with anyone. I promise you'll be okay. Number 22, El Hombre Sin Hombre in 2001. In case you're interested, that does stand for the man with no name. Yes, I did totally butcher it. Although the person we're talking about eventually started to referring themselves as Rayman. Nobody tell Ubisoft. He was just so spectacular when he did first start out though. All of a sudden you totally saw sports entertainment in a different light. Wouldn't surprise me if he inspired a lot of people we're watching today. You could argue that he never really followed through with this, but actually if you go and research him now in 2023, he basically became a Mexican journeyman wrestler. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But 21, Bob Sapp in 2002. I mean, if you go through a lot of the awards from 2022, there's Bob Sapp. Because he was winning Rookie of the Year, he was winning Best Box Office Draw, and he was doing this in MMA and wrestling. He's like a mini crossover star. It made sense because he was wrecking fools, he was massive, and he was cutting badass promos. And there was a little bit of controversy because somebody accused him of fixing his fights. I'm not sure that went anywhere. And today, I think he's just sitting at home playing Nintendo. Number 20, Chris Sabin in 2003. I mean, Chris Sabin is still going in Impact Wrestling. He's the X Division champion, or at least he was when I'm recording this video. And honestly, he is so damn good, I don't think he gets the plaudits he deserves. This is why he did win the Rookie of the Year award back in 2003, because it was damn obvious. I think we should just stand here and give him a round of applause, because I don't think he's going to stop anytime soon either. Number 19, Pete Williams in 2004. I mean, if it wasn't for Pete Williams, maybe I never would have seen the Canadian Destroyer. So don't pretend otherwise. This dude is inspirational. Don't just break him down into that though, because he used to have tons of good matches when he was in TNA, and today he's a producer at WWE. Here's another one who has just had a damn good career. Number 18, Shingo Daigo in 2005. I mean, just go and watch him today. He's still doing it, and nobody explodes better than Shingo. I mean, he was such an inspiration, even fans, idiots like me from overseas started to tune in. If you're bored, just watch him versus Will Ospreay whenever they clash. I mean, it's never actually bad at all. He is now an all-time great too and shows no signs of showing down, but when we get to that next Forbidden Door, make sure we plug him in. I need to see it. Number 17, Atushi Aoki in 2006. Now we kind of switched it up in 2006 because Aoki's big calling card was that he was like a really good technical ground mat wrestler. And the dude could make it look like he was killing you. He tragically died in 2019 after a motorcycle accident, but before then he was winning titles in All Japan and he was winning titles in Noah. So he was certainly an acquired taste, but actually if you do go through everything he did do, I think he lived up to his Rookie of the Year award. Number 16, Eric Stevens in 2007. Mostly remembered for an absolutely ridiculous fight with Roderick Strong during a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, Stevens was one of these guys that probably should have been bigger than he actually was, but he was just competing with a bunch of dudes that would actually go on to have GOAT status. That's not an insult too, but it did mean he got pushed a little bit too soon. In 2010, he just retired. Yep. Stevens has always claimed that he never got invited back to the company, so something is up there. This kind of feels a little bit like wasted potential. Number 15, Kai in 2008. Kai was very promising when he was picked as the next world beater. And while he did go on to have some damn good matches, I'm not sure he ever smashed through that ceiling. It also didn't help that he was part of All Japan when that promotion wasn't doing that well, although then he did jump to New Japan. Yeah, he did pretty good. He also did this really weird cosplay gimmick for a while, but Goofy Wrestling 4 life, before he found more success in Dragon Gate. Actually, I think I've been a little bit harsh on him. Number 14, Frightmare in 2009. Now, did Frightmare get this nod because he could do a bunch of cool moves? Yes, he did. I'm not sure this should be seen as a negative though, because wrestling can be whatever the hell you want it to be. And even Kota Ibushi has said, yeah, I inspired a lot of my moves after him. Go Frightmare. He only wrestles sporadically these days, and also may have retired. I don't know. Number 13, Adam Cole in 2010. So you know the deal. I'm not going to stand here and sing the praises of Adam Cole. He is one of the best wrestlers of his generation, and we haven't even seen the best of him yet. I tell you, this guy has extra steam in those knees, and it's going to be nuts. Right now he is in All Elite Wrestling, but sadly he's sidelined with a crazy foot injury he suffered. So once again, we take the positivity ball of power, and we throw it Cole's way. Hope he's back in the ring soon. Number 12, Daichi Hashimoto in 2011. The son of the legendary Shinya Hashimoto. The funny thing here is that one of Daichi's first opponents was none other than Daddy's third musketeer partner, Masahiro Chono. Now, of course he lost, but still, that is some blasting out of the gates. As we know now, he never really made it to the same level as his father, but in super niche circles, everybody sings about Hashimoto Jr., mostly for the bruising work he's done in Big Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, it was just never at the height to his puppy, but once again, does that matter? No. He still made a living as a damn wrestler. Number 11, Denis Tier in 2011. So Denis Tier is only 4'11", but my word, did they make the best use of this? Because that does make them more interesting, and also they can move at like 107 miles per hour. I mean, this is one of the reasons he did get the Rookie of the Year award, and he's so damn crisp. And if you want to argue about the best shooting star press ever, this is my entry. He is a little bit slower today because, of course, age will kick all of our asses, but he is also the World Mini Estrella champion down in AAA. Not sure if AAA know that. Sometimes they don't really care about belts. Number 10, Yohi Kamatsu in 2012. Or Yo, as you probably know him better today, as of the tag team show in Yo. Which is somewhat ironic, because if you go on the internet today, most people say that Show has outdone Yo. Now, I do think this is down to the fact that Yo is part of the House of Torture stuff, which is the ultimate in shenanigans when it comes to pro wrestling. And yeah, they kind of do take it too far. He is still in New Japan though, and a prominent member of that junior heavyweight division. Only issue there is that it is stacked, but let's not go on crap on Yo. Dude is still killing it. Number 9, Dragon Lee in 2014. I mean, look at this. Not only was he made Rookie of the Year, not only did he have all those matches with Takahashi, but he was also doing dives that Darby Allin probably borrowed from. That's why he is where he is today. Because he smashed it on the indies, he all of a sudden surprised all of us by signing with NXT, and in less than a year, they had put him on the main roster. And why? Because Dragon Lee is flubbing great. Number 8, Chad Gable in 2015. And WWE made him Shorty G. Wonders never see. A technical wizard though, who does not let his size affect him. One of the great things about 2023 is that finally he's being pushed as a singles star, and now everybody wants him to beat Gunther to become the IC champion. Well, shock horror. I do think he'll eventually achieve this accolade too. I think he's going to go on to have a fantastic time in WWE, or AEW, or Ring of Honor, or Impact, or wherever. Because that's right, Chad is an underrated gem. Number 7, Matt Riddle in 2016. So I think most people know the Matt Riddle story by now, and really his WWE adventure came when New Japan were like, oh hey, do you want to sign with us? And then World Wrestling Entertainment were like, no, we will take you now. Of course, during the summer of 2023, he was let go from the company after some controversial incidences. But look, he'll be fine wherever he goes. Matt Riddle just gets it. Number 6, Katsuya Kitamura in 2017. I mean, this guy was ridiculous. He was jacked, he was cool, he had a badass mouthpiece, and he just felt like something completely different when it came to New Japan's young lions. I mean, we'd never seen anything like him. The company were definitely behind him too, because all of a sudden they were kind of booking him like he was Kenta Kobashi, when one day he just wasn't here anymore, and then there were a lot of rumors about his health. I mean, some people said that he had crushed his leg in a scooter accident. In 2021 he was doing MMA. I don't know if that's true or not. There was then more whisperings when we found out in 2022 that he had passed away at just 36. So once again, man, can we please just enjoy wrestling? Number 5, Ronda Rousey in 2018. Now you're all gonna get mad about this, but let's not pretend that when Ronda Rousey did enter the WWE, she had a Kurt Angle-like rise, her first match was brilliant, and she was a huge reason as to why the women main evented WrestleMania 35. You may not like that, but it's true. And I do admit that round 2 wasn't as good as round 1, but she still made her impact. According to an Instagram post recently, she's retired now. But even if she has, she's won. Trust me, she's won. Number 4, Jungle Boy in 2019. Jack Perry finds himself in a unique position at the moment. I mean, he's gone heel, nobody saw that coming. And he was involved with that CM Punk incident, which saw Punk get fired. At the moment, Jungle Jim is still suspended. Ruh-roh. Now, I don't blame him for what happened because I don't know what went down, but I do think when he does come back to AEW, we still have a bunch of potential here. Kind of felt like we were just tapping into that. I mean, the guy is still so young. Number 3, Pat McAfee in 2020. I mean, if you ain't even a wrestler, and then one day you decide, oh, I'm just going to be a wrestler, and you're this good, somebody should give you an award. He was absolutely excellent down in NXT, and his forever feud with Adam Cole makes me laugh when he went to the main roster, and he was just having bangers at WrestleMania. I even like the Vince McMahon match, because I watched to be entertained. Right now, Pat and WWE are kind of, well, they like each other, but you know, Pat's not around. but he'll build back soon and he'll smash it again. Number 2, Jade Cargill in 2021. Because look at her, damn it! You don't just have to have 5-star matches to be an awesome wrestler. There's many walks of life. She also may have the best look in this industry ever. And don't act like she hasn't come a long way. She definitely has. Amazingly too, she recently joined WWE, and because of the way AEW booked her, WWE are now making her feel like an even bigger star. Let's return to this. In 12 months' time, you don't know, man. You do not know. Number 1, Bron Breakker in 2022. Or Logan Paul. Different video. But yeah, look, Mini Steiner has been doing amazing work in NXT. I mean, he was a good babyface, he was a good champion, and ever since he turned heel, well, we found it. This is the one. WWE has seen this as well, which is why they have made him do all these things, so they are going to put him on the main roster soon. And if we get to like, I don't know, 2038, and he hasn't main evented WrestleMania, something has gone very, very wrong. So there you go, my friends. There are all the rookies of the year, and now make sure you let me know what you think about all of them in the comments below. Click the video on the screen, like the video, share the video, subscribe. OneCulture.com, social media, do weird things with your hands. Make sure you love yourself, love everybody else. See you soon.